Hey nerds, join us on Discord and hit that subscribe button.
Hello everyone, I'm Thessaly.
Olma.
Kellic.
Flynn.
Zika.
And I'm your DM, Seth. Welcome to Venture Forth. When last we left our heroes, after arriving at Oakengate Monastery and becoming acquainted with, or in some cases reacquainted with, the Peak's Respite Inn and its colorful proprietress Rosie, you all made your way to your beds and slept through the final eve of the long eve. You awakened the following morning to a rapidly lightening sky in the east and the noise of bustling activity down within the common room, as Rosie, a gnomish woman named Lydia, and a group of novices from the monastery flew around the common room preparing various foods and beverages for the Everdawn celebration that apparently is impending here within Oakengate Village. You followed this eclectic group out towards the village center, where it appeared that the entirety of Oakengate Village was gathered around a central raised and roofed platform, upon which sat a collection of figures. Olma, you recognized the monks of the monastery, including Brother Danewind, your once mentor, and the man who last gave you the order to leave this place. But there in the village center, in the place between night and the dawn, the people of Oakengate gathered, paper lanterns in hand, and awaited the dawn's splendor. And as Famir's light once again came to the world after its long absence, you and the people of Oakengate let fly your lanterns. Prayers and thanks floated into the aurora of the dawn sky, and in a radiant display of light, those lanterns disappeared. The people of Oakengate took to their celebrations as the agents found Headmaster Danewind and Watcher Garrick and expressed the purpose for which you had come. You were led into the halls of the sanctum, passed through the Hall of Watchers, and into the secret waterfall shrine where the doors to the Brightwall were opened. And now, as you all sit within this room, we come back to this moment. You see this cavernous chamber around you, everything bathed in warm hues of orange and deep purple. And in the center of the room, at the back, carved from the heart of the mountain, you see the Brightwall. Boy. So, as we come back to this moment, Watcher Garrick and Headmaster Danewind behind you, you all see this large, again, cavernous chamber, and there a map of Elbor upon which you see faintly twinkling purple lights. And sort of in the center of the raging peaks, where you all currently stand, one light that appears to be brighter than most of the others.
Is Olma invisible right now?
No.
No, you're fully visible.
The hood down, right?
Yeah, she's holding my hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be looking to Olma to just make sure that, like, does she seem uncomfortable? I'm just checking in with you, kind of like with my eyes to make sure you're okay.
Are you still squeezing my hand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever seen this room, correct?
You have never seen this inner part of the sanctum. In fact, the doors that you came through into the waterfall shrine, you'd seen those doors, but you knew none of the novices. In fact, you'd never seen those doors opened before in all of your 12 years here.
Yeah, so
So
I'm just looking around. My head's on a swivel, and I'm just like taking in everything I see.
I think also one thing that I don't remember if I mentioned, but when the doors to this chamber open, let's see, the three of you, Olma, Seeker, and Flynn, I think that you three more, because you're more connected to arcane sources of magic than the two divine folks are. But you guys, all of you feel it, but the three of you more so, this sort of like static. This place is like charged with arcana. It is a very sort of like tangible feel to the space. Once you like get down into this area, there's just it's a source of this place is a conduit for magical energy.
Can I approach the map?
Absolutely.
I would like to do that and look at all the
I'll go with you.
spaces, all the glowing lights.
Yeah. As the two of you walk forward, you can see this wall, this map of Elbor is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60 feet across, and probably another 25, 30 feet tall. It is a massive map of the world, and it's very intricately detailed. And as you get closer now, you can see that even the sort of depressions and the changes in elevation all over the face of Elbor are shown. But as you get closer, you can see a handful of twinkling lights. You see one relatively strong source that is right in the center of the Raging Peaks. And as you look around, you see just like a handful of others that are kind of scattered throughout. There are some in Ganboldir. In fact, like you see a source of some kind in Westreach. You see, in fact, Westreach is kind of bright. Like
That
not
makes sense.
like it's relatively bright. And you know, as a source of kind of like arcane power, it's probably just a vestige of the fact that there is much arcana in that place.
There, yeah.
Also, like the capital city of Stillgate and Ondale also shines bright. There's like a kind of a collection of pinpricks there. And some in Keldur as well, Oakenspire, and then just a few kind of scattered throughout that are very dim, almost like they're almost difficult to make out, as if you're not quite sure if they're lights or motes of dust that are just catching light. Very faint traces.
And is it my understanding that this is Laurus magic specifically, or just magic in general?
A combination thereof, but more magic in general.
Okay.
The idea that Brim communicated to you was that they can use it to track powerful sources of magic. So it's not necessarily that these are all, people like you. It's more of these are powerful arcane signatures spread throughout the world.
Got it. How much brighter is the one in the Raging Peaks than the others?
It's the brightest on the board.
Even brighter than like the whole city of Westreach?
It's the brightest single point, I should say.
Right.
As opposed to like Westreach is kind of a bright section of the
Yeah, it's like a
sky.
beacon.
It's a little
Yeah.
asterism.
There is a very clear, bright single point in
It's just the map.
Yeah.
The map is so bright.
yeah. But yeah, it kind of almost looks like a swarm of fireflies are sort of around these densely populated areas, and then there are smaller lights scattered throughout. And then, of course, right in the center of the Raging Peaks is a relatively bright.
As I notice, as that all kind of hits me, that the light in the middle of the Raging Peaks is the brightest, I will squeeze your hand lightly twice.
I squeeze back.
You hear the voice of Headmaster Danewind from sort of behind you. It is rare that we allow those not of the Order into this space. Remind me again why you've come back.
My necklace is broken. And I don't know for sure, but kind of seems like it came from here. Or maybe you know where it did come from?
He turns to the Goliath, Watcher Garrick, this sort of tall, a very imposing figure who sort of, again, is just staring kind of up at a distant horizon or almost into the sky. His eyes kind of constantly upturned, and he walks forward and doesn't say anything. He just walks up to you and holds out his hand. If I could see it.
And I let go of Seeker's hand. And I take my necklace off and I put it in his hand.
He takes it and, still kind of looking up, he begins to trace these large, powerful hands very delicately over the surface of the necklace. His face kind of shifts as he takes out the details. He holds it up to his ear, and he kind of gently flicks the piece and then holds it up to his ear and listens. I know this. And he turns and he walks back into the corner of the room. You can see back look in this upper sort of northwestern corner of the chamber, you see a sort of raised area, and sort of built into the bedrock are a collection of shelves, and you see just unmarked brown leather tomes that are just stacked one over the other. And Garrick walks up to them, and he reaches up and he like runs his fingers across a collection of books, and one by one until he finds one, and he pulls it, and he says, "I believe this is the work of Tiarsa Adric, my predecessor's predecessor. She was..." And he kind of laughs ruefully to himself. "Of all the smiths I have ever known, she was the greatest. It was forged. She passed nearly 700 years ago. She knew more about magical crafting than she's forgotten more of magical crafting than I have ever learned. And she was near the end of her life and the peak of her skill when she crafted this." You see, he starts flipping through this book. "I never knew what this meant." And he finds a passage. And it's fascinating because as you look, the words are written. It's not braille. This man's touch is so delicate, he can read through the impressions of the ink and the pen on the paper.
Wow.
That's how finely tuned his senses are. So as he runs his hands over, he traces the actual letters. Monk shit, exactly. And it takes him a little bit of time, but eventually he finds a passage. And he begins to read. It says, "Alexandra herself represents no threat from what I and the other watchers can tell. She shows remorse for her part in the events she describes, and shows every trait of someone who wishes to be redeemed. But as long as her investiture continues, she will be hunted. Even some misguided followers of Laurus may view her as a walking sacrilege, an affront to Laurus, and a stain to be removed. She must be hidden, but how?" And then he flips through another page and kind of quietly reads by touch for a time. "Here. I've done it. The finest materials were sourced and used, and the secret lied not in which school of magic, but in the very source of the magic itself. Primal, arcane, and divine. All three brought to bear in the crafting and enchantment, using each source to obscure her from the sight of all. I am particularly contented this day. Alexandra's pursuers will have to find her the old-fashioned way moving forward." And he closes the book.
Hearing that, I, for the first time since being here at the monastery, completely relax. My shoulders fall. I don't have a spell or weapon ready, but I'm on the edge. Have been on the edge of it. And if I can catch Brim, just nod.
He smiles at you.
I look quite the opposite hearing this information.
Mm-hmm.
That is effulgent. If I might, does that mean we need to acquire materials of that power, that nature?
I don't think so. And he puts his hands back on it, and you see as sort of in his palm, as he puts his hands over it, his magic flares. And with the expertise of the Forge Cleric, he starts to speak. It's
Forge Cleric. That's cool.
He's a Forge Cleric of Laurus. As I said, this necklace was forged over 800 years ago. But all of the raw materials are still there. The necklace itself remains. It is the source of the magic that powered it that has been empty. From what I can tell, the magic has left it, but the vessel remains. Like an empty fountain, waiting to be refilled, and can be sustained once we have done so.
Okay.
Magic has 8 schools. Many of you know this, I'm sure. And most stop there. But there are 3 sources of magic, all interwoven, but distinct in their own right. There is the divine, the essence of the gods themselves, the primal, the magic of the land and the raw elements of creation, as well as that of the life force that flows through all living things. And finally, the arcane, the purest expression of raw magic, and Laris's gift to the world. We need all 3. And I believe here's one of the only places we can do so.
Do you have access to that kind of thing?
Do not all of you?
What do you mean?
We all draw magic from different sources. But can that be used in this manner? I've not heard of such a thing.
I believe so. The process of enchanting is a filling, a expenditure of magic to make enchantment permanent. That is part of how the devices that we use are created and are used. They are vessels, much like this necklace. This is simply a purer expression of what we use, but instead of finding, it obscures. That was Tiars's genius.
Aye.
So we just have to fill it?
I believe so.
But how?
Well, what? We put our magic upon it, yes.
The key that we learn to harness is a primal source of magic. You all may be able to take care of the rest. In fact, you might be able to take care of all of it. And his gaze finally lands on Olma.
Actually, yeah. Me?
Unless you have forgotten what is taught here.
No.
Then I believe it can be done.
I look at everybody's faces.
Just to clarify, I suppose, this necklace was sabotaged in the basin. Is there some way through this process we can prevent that from happening again?
I don't know.
I suppose if we learn how to do it, then we can always do it again.
And I will keep a more careful eye. That was my fault, Olma.
It's not your fault.
It was.
Evil is always on the shoulders of the evildoers.
Fair enough. Well, how do we
Where do
want
we
to start? Yeah.
Right. And he takes the necklace and walks towards the Brightwall.
Oh.
As he gets close, he kind of goes straight to the center, down kind of by the base. And you can see there sort of a recess, almost carved into the bedrock, kind of underneath, down at about chest height on him, up high for most folks. And he reaches out and he sets the necklace into that recess. And he turns. He says, "It could perhaps be done again, but the unique nature of the Brightwall and this place itself, I'm sure you feel it. Magic is stronger here, more powerful, pure, as a result of the gift that Lauris has left us." And he kind of reaches out and touches the wall. You would need something like the Brightwall in order to have done this.
Conduit of some kind.
An amplifier.
Uh-huh.
So it is good you've come. And he steps back. And he says, the process of enchanting the necklaces is somewhat taxing and arduous. This is similar. Or at least I think it will be. Please understand, I'm I only theorize. The smith who crafted this necklace is far beyond my skill. And I'm quite good. And he sort of motions to you all to stand. And he kind of takes up position sort of away from the wall and in the back, about 30 feet or so away. And he says, primal, divine, arcane, all three as one. And this is where we're going to enter into our skill challenge.
Oh, okay.
So, a skill challenge. These are a bit of a time to take the rule books and throw them out the window a little bit.
Okay.
It will be up to me to adjudicate exactly how it is that you guys use your creative abilities. You can use spells. You can use your role play with one another. You can help each other in whatever way you see fit. But the general idea is that you take a look at your character, your abilities, and see how you might be able to contribute magic or something else. If you can't contribute magic, you can help perhaps one of your fellow characters. But the idea here is that all of you jointly will together imbue this necklace with the magic that it needs to continue to function. And Garrick kind of like, he takes a moment and he reaches out, and you see as he kind of weaves his hands, and like inside of that sort of that recess where the necklace is, you see as sort of this column of like orange energy kind of pulls out from him and goes into the recess and kind of lights it up and then fades, as he just basically uses kind of magic, almost raw magical power to attempt to invest something into the necklace. And he turns to all of you. He says, my magic is, shall I say, different, and perhaps it is best that all of you do this.
All right. I would like to do two things.
Okay.
One would be to
Feel free to ask questions too. I know this is kind of a first for us, so if you have any ideas, if you have something that you think would work, feel free to ask, and I can kind of help guide you guys through this. I know it's kind of a first time for us.
And what Garrick's, if I can ask a quick question.
Absolutely.
So what Garrick said is that all of us, we need to be able to hit all the markers that he laid out for us. So divine, primal, arcane, and
That's it.
that was
That's
it.
it.
Okay.
Those are the three.
So we do need to figure out. Yeah. Okay.
so the two things I would like to do are,
Of course.
I would like to cast Bless
Uh-huh.
on the object itself,
Okay.
channeling the magic of Famir.
Awesome.
But I would also like to tap into my senses that Zachriel has given me that allow me to see the interconnectivity of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm anticipating the others using their magic as well, and I'm hoping to use that vision to connect the threads of their magic to mine
Awesome.
as we do this.
Okay. Cool. So, that's fucking awesome. All right. Awesome.
Super cool.
Okay.
Super cool.
As you guys kind of spread out throughout this room, you sort of take up your positions, looking at the Brightwall, everybody awash in this sort of bright, vibrant purple glow. And Kellic, as you reach out, you cast Bless, and you see as within the recess of the Brightwall itself, Famir's magic. What is it? It's a sort of white light, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you see this sort of white light wash outwards from you, and much like Garrick, you see it go in, but as you push it forward, whereas Garrick's was sort of this almost like a small orb of orange, it almost looks like a humanoid from you that walks outward, perhaps
That's cool.
at this time, this juncture, in this place, the confluence of Famir's coming back to the world and the amplification of magic, your magic almost like it's more than you expect. It's quick to your fingertips, as if normally you reach for it and it's close at hand, and you feel it kind of surge outward from you as the entirety of the wall, that white glow, goes into the recess and remains and does not leave. And you see, as to your vision, orange threads begin to tendrils kind of reach out from the necklace and begin to wash through the room, tenuously reaching.
Go ahead.
I need you, go ahead and roll. I would like you to roll a wisdom. This is just a straight spell casting. You can choose a spell casting ability check, so just a straight wisdom check, or I will allow a religion check. If you are proficient in religion, you do use your wisdom for religion, though.
Okay, you want me to use I would use my wisdom for religion?
Proficiency, you would use wisdom and proficiency. Yeah.
Yes.
That's something that I've always thought that it was silly that clerics can't use wisdom for religion instead of intelligence. So it's something that I allow at the table.
Perfect. Cool. Okay. So it would either be a wisdom check or a religion check. Is that accurate? Okay.
Correct.
Cool.
You do have proficiency in
I do have
religion?
proficiency in religion. Of course.
Yeah, you do. All right.
Come on.
Go ahead. So this is the first roll of the skill check. You all have to accumulate 3 successes before 3 failures.
No.
If I may, what is our current
He's using his
proficiency
dice.
modifier?
+4, I believe.
+4. Okay, cool.
Or is it? No, it's 5 now. It's 5. It's 5.
Yeah.
As of level 13, it's 5.
Yeah, it's 5.
That makes sense. Yeah, because it should be
And then
higher.
6 is 17.
I think you
So,
automatically. I
10.
think Shane's going to automatically pass, though.
Hey, now.
What's the DC?
I do not need any help. That was an 18 on the die.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
Plus 10.
Get him.
So 28.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
Get
so
him.
this sort of
It's
like...
the Everdawn, baby.
Yeah. Feeling himself. So yeah, this sort of like outline kind of this humanoid, almost vaguely female, washes out from you and sort of takes shape as it goes into that recess and it starts to kind of like warble and stay and maintain as you see just the faintest of that light reflected in the center of the gem of the necklace, and it remains. Olma.
I want to try and use all sources of this magic right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to sit down
Okay.
and cross my legs
Uh-huh.
and touch the ground
Uh-huh.
and close my eyes and attempt to meditate, to breathe, find my center and breathe and expend all of my key points, which I think I have 4. So it's not like a crazy amount, but I have 4. So I'll use a bonus action to tap into all of my key points and use them. And then as my spell, and this is a wonky.
Uh-huh. Hit me. Let's go. Let's go.
I want to use seeming on the necklace. Now, this is a stretch, and I'm
Okay.
aware of that
That's
because
all right.
it does say it's for any number of creatures I can see within range. However, I can change. It doesn't say they have to be wearing it, but I can change clothing, armor, weapons, and equipment.
Okay.
It doesn't specifically say that they are wearing.
Uh-huh. No.
I think it's implied, but it doesn't say it.
Hey, this is a skill challenge. The rules are a little
Yeah,
loosey-goosey
it's
anyway.
So
This is
Sophie,
awesome. You don't have to
I want to
justify this at
use
all.
seeming to have the necklace be whole and lit and fully fixed. It's repaired.
Amazing. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I don't know, manifestation. I am trying to manifest.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm using.
Fake it till you make
I'm
it.
using my key points for the.
Ooh.
I'm using my key points for the primal magic.
Yeah.
My magic is arcane, but also divine in nature because it comes from a god.
Absolutely. Okay.
In theory.
I would like, okay, so this is like a weird combination of a bunch of things, but I think that the purest expression of this in my head is like Olma's will. Like the sort of will to pull together and like almost channel all and like exert that control that she so often lacks in this moment to find that center. So I would like you to make a charisma saving throw for me, please.
Are we standing within 5 feet of each other?
Fuck yeah, you are.
Yeah.
If Thessaly wants to be behind Olma,
I would
which
be close
seems,
to Olma.
seems familiar, I'll allow it. That's amazing.
Add an
that
extra
noise.
5.
I don't know if I need to.
Oh, that noise.
Yeah.
That is a 12 on the die plus 14.
20.
Plus
Right?
5.
No,
Oh,
No, that's
fine.
included.
12 on the dice, so that is
so
a
26.
26.
Gee.
So,
Fail.
amazing.
Fail.
Yeah.
Failure.
It explodes.
The monastery's gone.
So you sit, and like you've done so many times, you start where you always start, with the breath. You breathe in and breathe out. And before, as you sort of feel this constant, almost vibration of the magic washing over you, the room quiets until you hear your breathing. And you reach that place inside of you where your key is, and you hear the breath of everybody else in the room until it's just that, you and everyone. And as you reach out to that key, almost behind your closed eyes, you feel that life force, that connection, the key of everybody in the room. You see them almost outlined to your vision behind your eyes. You see behind you Brim and Danewind and Garrick, each of them unique, and you can almost tell by the signature who they are and the very familiar presence of your friends. You feel Thessaly, you feel them behind you, and the presence of their aura as it washes over you and helps you center even further until you go deeper into yourself. And as you grab a hold of your key, you feel it release. And with it goes that purple, that thing that you've been trying to get a hold of for so long. And you feel this connection that you've been searching for as something in this space clicks. And all of you see as Olma glows purple from the inside out. And
Whoa.
running along the ground, this vibrant dash of purple as it sort of finds the cracks between all of the cobblestones of this place. And in its wake, you see almost like the bioluminescence of the tiny life forms that are all throughout this place. And it all goes up into the wall, and you see as the wall takes it in, and as the necklace begins to glow brighter and looks whole and perfect, and then fades just a little bit back. And as you open your eyes, you can see it there. Woof, woof, and Kellic, to your eyes, these threads latch onto Olma. And there's still some left that are floating tenuously, reaching out. And we have to talk about something after this.
Oh,
As you feel that connection in this space, you look and you can almost see like the raw magic kind of running through the air, and you feel like you have a grasp of something you haven't quite grasped before.
Oh.
Talk to us.
Awesome. That was fucking awesome. Okay. Go ahead.
That's all I'm doing.
Okay. Fuck yeah. Awesome. All right. Who is next?
So is that a success?
That is a success.
Okay.
To the 26th
Okay.
day. Maybe.
Okay.
I have a thing.
Go hours.
All right.
Yeah, okay. I want to walk over to the wall where the necklace is, and I'm going to bend down and I'm going to pull out my tribute totem, set it next to the wall. I'm going to pull out a ceremonial dagger, and as I pull it out, I'm going to press it into my palm and say Nau, and cast Sacred Flame. And I'm going to cast that onto the necklace. And then I'm going to bend down and open the tribute totem. And I'm just going to say, with these gifts, my magic to you. Loris, please help. And I will open it, and as the the purple orb of energy kind of floats up, I'm just going to start hurling spells at it.
Yes, you awesome.
So cool.
So
cool.
Into the totem.
Into the totem. Yeah,
Nice.
as many as you allow. I know it's supposed to hold 3, but I'm just going to...
Awesome. It's like you are, so again, like the rules are a little wishy-washy here. So I will just allow you, like you can just expend like raw magical energy and fill the totem.
Yeah.
If that's what you're kind of going for here.
That's what I'm going for. I'm expending all of the energy, magical energy that I have into this with the intent to then take that and direct it into the necklace.
Fuck yeah. Okay. Awesome. So you guys see as Seeker walks forward, sets the totem down, and Seeker, as you prepare and as you push, like, get everything around, and you say those words and you use the dagger, you feel someone watching you. Behind you.
I'll glance that way. Who?
On the steps, out of the room, behind everybody, you see Silent, the woman.
Yeah, from earlier.
And a small smile's on her lips.
Okay.
And in your head, he's with you.
What? What?
And then she vanishes.
Totally normal.
And I will recompose and just start
Go ahead and roll an Arcana check for me. At advantage because you are expending spell slots.
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to expend the 2 highest spell slots you have.
Yeah.
Jeez.
2 third levels gone. I was gonna burn every one I have, like just throw them in. Well, this is a what?
This is an Arcana check at advantage for me, as you literally are attempting to channel raw Arcana.
It's a 14. Oh, what's that?
No fucking way.
No
fucking way.
That's amazing.
Oh,
Amazing.
Fuck, I love it when that
Amazing.
happens. I love when the dice work. Oh, that's amazing.
What does that mean when the 2 is there?
When the 2 in the
zero?
0. In the group chat, right?
They do it?
New high score.
Yeah.
How is that? Amazing. Okay. So like the sort of warbling
What's the
white
total
light.
there?
Total
what is
22.
22. Amazing.
Every one of these has been above a 20.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you see as Seeker walks forward, and you place the totem, you use the dagger, and you whisper those incantations, those words of power that have always stuck by you for the years and years since you first were introduced to the teachings of Laurus. And in this place, much like Kellic, you feel that magic leap towards you almost instantaneously, like it was waiting for you to use it. And from Seeker, this vibrant, where Olma's was like subtle and sort of slow, Seeker's is almost violent in that it explodes outwards and you are shrouded in purple plasma. And then it gets sucked into the totem and you guys hear this like as this vibrating energy, and you can feel the pressure of the room increase as you pour it into the totem. And it flares and begins to sort of flash and flare in time with that warbling. And then it, in one solid beam, bolts into that recess. And all of your vision goes purple and white as you feel this percussive sort of and you feel this like wash over your clothes, and your hair is blown backwards. Most of you like kind of almost stumble, and you feel that amplification of magic as your skin tingles and all the hair on your arm stands up. And when the vision clears, you see sitting in the center as Kellic, to your eyes, the last of the threads that are now connected to Seeker and everybody in the room fade from your vision, and left in the center of the recess is the necklace, bright and whole as you know it to be. And that is a successful skill challenge, guys.
Yeah.
We did it.
Is it done?
Yeah, it is. Sorry.
Let me check and I'll drop seeming.
Yeah, and there's no change. It looks exactly the same. You drop the seeming. If you walk forward, do you grab it?
Yeah, I stand up. I'm going to stand up and walk forward a little like wobbly.
Mm-hmm.
And try to reach up for the necklace.
Oh, right.
Can
It's so
I
high.
reach it?
No.
I am like 5 feet, 4 foot, 4'11".
Yeah, you can reach it.
Yeah, I'm like 4'11".
Toes, maybe a little
Yeah.
jump.
I'm gonna reach for it.
Awesome. You reach for it and you feel it kind of like you have to jump a little bit, like kind of
Yeah.
like right on the top shelf, you know? But you
Mhm.
grab a hold of it, you feel it, and you feel it's warm to your touch.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it, and I'm gonna. Is Seeker still right next to the wall? Yeah, I'm gonna open up the clasp, and I'm gonna turn around, and I'm gonna hand it to Seeker to put on me.
I'll bend down and delicately. Is your hair?
It's in a braid
Yeah.
over the side.
Okay,
So.
so yeah, I'll just maneuver that and fix the clasp and pat your shoulders with both hands.
When the clasp closes, you look up on the bright wall and you see the light wink out.
Oh, by the gods.
Quite literally.
I think it works.
You've been asking where Laurus is, Seeker. I think you might have found him.
Since I'm there next to the wall and he says, "Can I touch the wall?"
Yeah.
What do I feel?
That same like when you put your hand on it, you feel that like in your chest and warm. Feel warm.
I think you're right. Yeah. Did anybody see the person at the stairs? Was it just me?
I was a little
No.
bit distracted. I was watching the threads of the thing pulled together.
The what?
Wanted to make sure that it was working, so I was looking at the threads. Like I do.
Naturally, yes.
Like his
But-
negotiation.
I
Precisely.
thought the threads were just for people.
Everything is connected.
Everything?
Why?
Like there's a pebble outside somewhere just sitting and it's connected
Why do you
to
think
us?
I have to do so much negotiation?
I realized that came off a little aggressive. I was wow, that's a lot to take in.
It's a bit overwhelming sometimes.
Oof.
But there was someone at the stairs. All right, I look. Is there anyone there now?
Mm-mm. And, Brim turns around. He's like, "What?"
He didn't even realize.
What about Danewind
That's a
or
sneaky person.
Watcher? No.
Danewind says the doors are sealed. There's no one else in here.
Are you sure you weren't just in the moment, Seeker? You know, just kind of with the magic. That's how magic works, right?
Yeah, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
probably. I it's nothing. Olma, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm holding my necklace and looking at the map. Good. Thank you all.
Great relief. I've been worried sick about this. I look at Danewind and Garrick. Thank you. This was our. Let's just say it's very lucky that it's worked as well as it has, and that you were here to help us.
It was the least we could do.
While we were sitting there and while they were casting their spells, I think I would have been just kind of being ready to cast something. But seeing that Kellic started and then Olma went and then Seeker went, I kind of just stayed in the back line and let them do their thing. I would have been rubbing my fingers together and kind of just like preparing to cast something. So the energy would come through and I would see the green flame kind of produce, and I was kind of just holding it and just like rubbing it between my fingers and like letting it kind of fly around on my hand. And then when everything ended, I think I would have noticed the necklace be done and be put on Olma, and I think I would have seen the map, especially with Seeker on it, and I watch it and I see the light go out, and I would have just looked at it, my hand with the fire and the magic, and looked back up at the map with now no glowing dot. And while they're talking, I would just attempt to look back up at the map and maybe channel the darker magic to see if maybe I can get the light to come on the map.
Okay.
Just as I'm like playing with it in my hand.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would mean, but I think, I would kind of just be like,
as you reach out for that, you find nothing in this space.
really? If I'm looking at that and I'm kind of I'd like to look down at my tattoos on my arm and try and locate the different one, the shadowed tattoo. And does it look different?
No, looks the same. It doesn't look like it's moving at all or anything. No motion.
Okay, but it doesn't seem to react or change or anything when I try now.
Can I try to clock this since I was also ready but did not need to contribute?
That's a tough one.
I wasn't really hiding it, but I am just playing with the fire in my hand. You can see like the green, I guess.
I think you.
Yeah, but I clocked you earlier too with the other stuff. So
Ooh, I am gonna say.
You mean in the
you
back-
see
like
the green
on our way,
stuff?
yeah.
You see like the him messing with it, the green stuff and everything.
But
like nothing beyond that.
Okay.
Make an insight check. I'll say make an insight check. Because there's no like real physical manifestation or anything, no
Sure.
outward symbol of what you're trying to
Visual.
accomplish.
Yeah.
But
just
I mean,
been
does
keeping an eye
any
out
disappointment show up on his
that's
face?
the
Like,
question.
yeah.
It's like, what is? Do
A
you read a
confusion or
reaction?
something,
Yeah.
Did you say insight?
Insight. Yeah. Go ahead and roll an insight check for me.
Roll high.
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Is Flynn attempting to hide any? What is
I
his
think-
reaction?
I think as I'm trying to do this, looking at the fire, and I think there is some kind of like subtle, like kind of squinting of the eyes when I'm looking at the light not turning on, and I look back down, and I'm trying to. It's like I'm trying to cast something, but it's not working. I think it's probably what would come across. It's like I'm not frustrated, but I'm just like confused as I'm trying to like access the magic of something and do something.
That doesn't exist here.
As you look, so like you try to access the darker magic and you don't feel any, like you reach out for it and there's nothing there.
Right.
But as you sort of look closer at the wall, the bright light has gone out, but lights remain.
Okay.
There are other presences here, and it's hard to tell from how far away you are, but there are other lights.
Okay.
It's just that the very bright one has.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's what I'd be doing.
Okay. Yeah. So whatever Thessaly makes of that.
Whatever I glean from that.
Brother or Watcher Brim comes up to you. Nice.
Oh.
Thanks. And I put my hand flat against his fist.
He takes your hand and he makes a fist with it.
Okay.
And he bumps your face like this.
Okay.
Good job. Great.
Thank you.
You got there.
We all did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for showing us how to get here and for coming to find us.
You're welcome.
I don't want the Order of the Overseeing to kill me. So don't.
We won't.
Okay, because in the note that Garrick
Right.
said,
And
Make promises.
It's like there's a bit of an right, we're not, and then Danewind is.
because in the note that Garrick said, it seemed like there was some type of adjudication, and they decided that Lady Alexandra was repentant. And I am too. So I didn't ask for this, and I don't want to die.
Novice Mars. Danewind says. In order to be repentant, someone has to have done something wrong.
I just put my head down.
And he puts his hand on your shoulder. You have nothing to fear from us, child. This place kept your great-grandmother safe once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
It can keep you safe as well.
Thank you.
And it would. If you would like it to.
A knowing look comes across my face, and I've been watching Olma among these people this time, and as he says this, nothing changes in my expression because I'm just softly watching Olma.
This place turned you away once. I turned you away once. It was not by choice. But it is my choice now. And if you desire, you can remain.
I look back up at him, and I look to Kellic and Thessalian Seeker and Flynn. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I think I found my home. I don't think I belong here anymore.
I understand. The invitation remains open.
Thank you. But we gotta repair the world, so I can't do that from here.
I think I shoot a glance to Kellic and just catches and just kind of look back to the conversation at hand.
The very rare smile comes over Watcher or Headmaster Danewind's face. Well, that does not sound like something you can do from Oakengate. And it appears, and he kind of sweeps his gaze over everybody, you have found a home.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our home, as he stands up, is in the middle of a celebration.
Yeah.
So, unless there is anything else you would like to explore down in here,
No.
this will likely be your last time here, Novice Marsk. Very well. Everyone would follow me.
I could probably explore this place for a long time, but
Tarka.
okay.
Amazing.
Maybe not just let. Yes.
As you guys all, unless you actually I'm assuming. Oh,
No.
Tarka. Okay. And you gotta start walking.
I'll
Brush along.
Brim falls into step beside you, and he goes, "I can get you in."
Yeah.
I just
And he
smile.
kind of looks over at you like crossways.
I smile. Okay.
That's great.
Love that.
You guys exit the Brightwall
Mhm.
in the room. Garrick and brother or headmaster Danewind behind you. And as you get up to the top of the stairs, once again they both reach out and place their hands on very similar mirrored metal conduits on this side. And you see as both of them kind of in this sort of warbling, they spend an additional amount of key to get out of here. And the doors kind of, and you see that same rush of water, that smell as it comes over you guys. And you hear the sort of rushing of the waterfall on the other side as you mount the stairs, and the doors close behind you. You are led out of the monastery, the sanctum, retracing your steps. You go back through the Hall of Fists, down the long hall. You see Olma off to your left, the long hall that leads to the library here at Oakengate, and continue past, finally arriving again at the Hall of the Watchers, these large statues, visages of monks, past watchers who kept the world safe to the best of their ability, and you feel that same kind of heavy presence as you walk through this place, until eventually you find yourselves once again through the novice courtyard, the carefully curated pathways, and out and down the steps, and you see and can hear the sort of revelry of the village as it returns to your guys' ears. You can see like people running around down there, and you can hear like kids laughing and music being played, and just sort of hear the general sounds of the celebration of the Everdawn. And the day is yours. What do you guys wish to do?
As we're sort of parting ways, Headmaster Danewind.
Yes.
Just out of curiosity, is the Brightwall ever referred to as a sacred stone, perhaps, or a place where past and present meet?
Oh.
Aha! TM Seth sees what you're doing there. No, it is a sacred stone. It is the sacred stone to us. So, though we don't refer to it that way, that is very much what it is.
Aye. I've come across some confusing texts in the past few days and trying to sort of make sense of them, and I thought, I don't know, lexicons can differ from place to place. So,
What sort of texts?
vague prophecies. I suppose there's no other kind. I don't mean to be redundant.
I was about to say the same.
Yes, there's a bit of a, could be a nursery rhyme, but it seems like maybe something a little more portentous. Try to figure it out.
Well, you're free to have run of our texts within the library if you so wish.
That was my next question.
Perhaps you can find something there that will help you.
I hope so. Have you lot had any run-ins with the Red Wolves?
No.
Aye. They're not the kind of storm a
Huh.
big gated place. As I say that though, I would like to sort of
Make an insight check.
maybe just a little one.
Do I
Just a
trust
wee little-
Dane?
That's right.
Dane?
Go ahead.
Ding, ding.
Dang dang. 23.
Oh.
He is not telling the entire truth.
Ah.
That's a very good roll. It's less that he is. I think you know that it's his pride that is covering something, not
Some insidious.
something insidious.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, if that makes sense.
Just considering, I don't know how. I assume you know a lot about where Olma's issues began.
I've learned in the last few years.
Well, that's what we find ourselves contended with now. So, Seeker, you got any of that ink?
Make a persuasion check for me.
I'll walk over with a vial.
Okay.
I'm rolling like a machine. 24.
Yeah, you are. Get some.
24. Walk with me.
Oh,
Of course.
the
And he walks you kind of back up the steps a little ways. You all see as Kellic and Headmaster Danewind depart and go sort of back up into the monastery, and he leads you into just the sort of pathways, those like very carefully curated, very well manicured paths in the novice area, and sort of folds his hands behind his back. Did Olma speak of Abbot Kane, previous headmaster of this place?
Only in passing, just the bare bones of what happened.
This place was not as it once was while Olma was here. And that is through no short amount of effort and no small amount of sacrifice. Abbot Kane took over as headmaster of this temple nearly 30 years ago. And under her oversight, we grew increasingly militant. Our directive has always been one of observation and intervening only at the direst of need. We are not gods. We do not pretend to be. And we reserve our judgment for when it is only absolutely necessary. Abbot Kane sought to expand upon our directive. I suspect that she was a member of this so-called order.
Red robe hanging in her closet.
After Novice Marsk's departure, my hand was forced. But part of why I sent her away was I suspected. And I believed that Abbot Kane specifically and intentionally exiled Novice Marsk to get her away from my protection, as well as that of the rest of the temple.
So you got ahead of the chase.
And many others fell behind. There was a change in the seat of power here. When Abbot Kane, I confronted her shortly after Novice Marsk left. Many of my brothers and sisters died. And Abbot Kane fled. I tried to find Olma. Many of us did. But despite her young age, she seems to be quite elusive. One of the many skills she has.
Stubborn at that.
Incredibly so. In all my many years.
Just to share a mutual moment of
the men who have tried to tutor or sort of help Olma in her youth. There is a definite an appreciation for how wily and
a kinship.
For how stubborn Olma is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He says, so it is very fortunate that Abbot Kane never found her. And it is very fortunate that you and the rest of your group did.
That's a question I often ask myself. It's whether or not it was lucky. Do you think... Well, it's of course up to Olma. But... it would be safer for her here, would it not?
Yes, it would be. This place has stood for nearly 8,000 years.
I just sort of cast like a long look over to Olma. Well, talk about it. I appreciate your time. It may come to it that your services will be needed in this fight against the Red Wolf. I don't mean to expand the interest of your order, but we might be pretty close to it being a necessity.
We haven't stood for 8,000 years by standing and watching only.
Let's go.
Good.
If you call upon us, we will come.
And I produce the vial of ink. A friend of mine has a magical scroll that you can write to, but also I assume you have other means of communicating. I do as well, so we'll be in touch.
Excellent.
Pleasure to meet you.
You as well.
And I'll sort of bow my head and head back to the group.
Awesome. Well, that has been going on.
Yeah.
What are you guys all doing?
Yeah, I would want to check in with Olma, so I'll crouch down a little bit, and if she'll let me, I want to take both of her hands in mine.
I'll let you.
Well, Olma, it looks like if you want it, you really have two homes. You've got the one in Sunplume, which is home, but you can come back here anytime you want. Isn't that nice?
I guess.
You guess? Don't you like Rosie and Danewind and Brim?
Well, yeah, but it's all the way up here in the mountains, and it's very far away from everything else, and I'm busy.
You are
Amazing.
just taking in, when children say things and letting that filter the parental instinct in me just washing away, and then that's very true. Olma.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Artemisia in her cell, and we've got like a dragon, and like the Crumble who pretends like he doesn't know who he is now. I mean, we've got a lot going on.
We have too much, some might argue, but I was just thinking how nice it might be when we're less busy for you to be able to come back and visit, because you seem to make a lot of people here very happy.
Yeah, well, I like that I don't have to be exiled anymore. Like,
right.
It's nice that I'm allowed back here.
Danewind seems a little repressed, maybe a little. He doesn't show a lot of emotion, but
I mean, this was a good day.
no, I think he really must care
There's
for
a
you
lot
a
of
lot.
emotion.
Based on,
I mean, he smiled. I've never seen that before.
that was the feeling I was getting. So I think that you seem to be very special here to him and to Rose. I think it would mean a lot to them if you came back.
Well, yeah. Well, we can come back and visit.
Okay.
There's a lot of food over there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty hungry. Is anyone else hungry?
I think I would have probably, when they started talking, I would have like kind of looked to Seeker and kind of like started walking. I would like to maybe walk like an earshot away.
Mhm.
I'll walk with you.
Not too far, but just like kind of the side.
Yeah.
And then maybe like to look over the grounds and kind of look at all the partying or whatever's going on. And I'll just kind of like when Seeker comes over, I'll just kind of like under my breath kind of, it would be safer for her here. And I don't know. And I'll just look to him.
Probably. Seems pretty strong,
Yeah.
but I don't know. We're doing all right. Kind of.
Seeker, we died.
Sometimes.
We died, Seeker.
True.
But yeah. I don't think we'll be able to convince Alma of anything, so...
It's her choice, not ours.
And if a kid dies with us, I'm gonna be
Does it matter that she's a kid? If any of us die, there's a problem.
Yeah, but what she's been through and everything. I talked to Kellic about this before. She deserves a normal childhood, man.
Look around, Flynn. This world, what is normal?
Used to have a pretty good grasp on it.
She's strong, smart, wise, doesn't back down. She's doing good. Can't shout at her from this. A world at war, a world gone mad. What would you do? Have her sit at the house and play card games?
I don't know. I mean, this seems like a good place for her to learn about what she is, who she is, what's inside. I don't know.
She's learning. It's coming. It's happening.
Dangerously. And also, like, I'm glad we fixed the necklace. Don't get me wrong. But, I mean, the Red Wolf's got to know who we are. So can't they just search for us? We'll be with her, obviously. That's another reason why maybe we should leave her here. I don't know. I'm just... I don't know.
We are not free from hunters, no. But she was a big beacon.
Yeah,
in
I
the
saw
night.
it. Yep. I don't know.
What's going on? What's going on?
Nothing's going on. I'm just saying. You know. Can we keep her safe?
Maybe she can keep us safe.
Mhm.
Let's keep an eye on her, okay?
Always. How are you?
Great. What about you?
Do I buy that?
Do I?
I get roll an insight check for me.
Do I buy what he said?
I'll roll something, right?
Yeah. If you want to convince him, go ahead and
Sure,
roll
yeah.
persuasion
Yeah.
or deception. Don't say which.
I was perception?
Insight. Sorry.
Insight?
Insight.
I rolled an
Total?
11.
11?
Yeah.
3.
3.
I mean, based
yeah.
on how you performed it.
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Yeah.
Something's up.
I'm not going to push you. It's not my thing. But that was a load of shit, man.
Yeah. I'm figuring things out, you know. But yeah, I'm getting kind of hungry though. Maybe we should get some food and we can talk about this later.
Okay. That was pretty cool back there.
Dude, I couldn't see. I blinded. What'd you do?
Magic.
At which point,
Yeah.
is there any of you guys hungry?
Yeah.
Like the kind of voice raised of that. And Kellic kind of rejoins the group. And you catch it as you're kind of coming down the stairs. You all find yourselves together again. As Olma asks if anybody else is hungry.
Starving.
Great.
Okay, let's get food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. You guys head back down into the village.
Mhm.
And again, kind of the sounds of the merriment kind of wash over you guys. As you walk into the village kind of center, you see a smattering of like houses and things. This kind of larger open area, the little river that runs through the center of the village, and you can see tables are set up with, like I said, sort of all these different snacks and things like that. You see, let me go back to my notes because I'm not a baker. You see the Aurora Bites, small pastries filled with fruit jams and custards, and they are sort of sparkled with edible glitter and stuff like that. Here, the sort of
Two of them.
Yep, and Rosie goes, 2. Okay, here you go. And you see a luminous broth, which is like a clear sort of shimmering soup. You can see herbs, vegetables, spices, fish, like very brightly scaled silver fish in there that are all sort of reflective and iridescent on the top. You see big golden loaves of bread with a sun symbol sort of like etched into the top. You see pies that are also all in like star shapes and small stars. that are cut out and represent, the stars that were present that over the 10-day night. And then, of course, you see people walking around with mugs, clay and wooden mugs filled with what looks like kind of a sparkling beverage.
Ooh.
And it is the Dawn's Dew drink, a sparkling beverage made from the early morning dew, citrus fruits, and a splash of fermented honey.
Ooh.
Oh.
Fermented
Mead.
honey.
Yeah.
It's mead.
Basically
Mead.
Hello.
That's right.
2 of those.
All right. And you see Rosie and
3.
the other
You want
3.
one?
Excellent.
Yes.
I'll hand one of them to Seeker.
There you
and then,
Yeah, I'm going to get a little bit of everything.
Awesome.
And
Go,
then
sorry.
bypass any tables that are to be sat at and find a nice grassy section, put my cloak down and just plop down and lay back and enjoy the sun on my face.
Aww.
I think probably you two would probably notice it. Lydia, the small gnomish woman who was there earlier in this morning, sort of around her neck. And Kellic and Seeker, I think you guys most, because you've seen enough what appear to be worn as holy symbols in your guys' lives, and your both respective experiences with priesthood. And you see sort of on just a very simple, wooden kind of carved amulet. It's relatively small, but you see what appear to be a bushel of wheat stalks. And it's an unfamiliar, it's worn like a holy symbol, but it doesn't represent any of the known gods, old or new. Just a weird little kind of thing that you guys, I think, clock. And you also hear her say at one point, when you say 3, or when you say 2, 2 of the things, and you get all the food, and you guys pile up your plates, because I'm just assuming you guys are
we're getting
piling stuff on.
Yeah.
She remarks, she says, by cultivation, that's a lot of food, and it's like a proper noun, by cultivation.
With a capital
It's
C.
a capital C.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of an oddity that you guys both notice, I think. But you get your food, and Olma kind of leads you guys away. You find that there are lots of trees and things like that, that have been cleared out of snow underneath them, and there's benches and things like that are scattered throughout. But you're able to find a seat and grab your guys' snacks and start eating. You can see the various games and things like that are still going on, as you guys sit down to eat, what do you guys do?
Yeah, I'll find the nearest actual seat next to Olma, where Olma's sitting in the grass.
If
My
it's
white
super
room.
snowy, I would be laying on a table, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
They've done a good job of clearing out areas of snow and things like that. But yeah, it's definitely frosty grass. Frosty grass. But yeah, you find that seat next to Olma. As Olma, you kind of sit and are looking up at the sky, light, bright blue, with sort of still the faint kind of tendrils of the Everdawn aurora that are still kind of there, and just the sun, feeling the sun on your skin for the first time in what feels like ages.
Yeah.
Feels like a year.
But you feel it's the warmth of that sun, and you'd almost forgot what that felt like, that warmth. Yeah. But you sit down.
I'm just watching Olma basking in the sunlight.
Awesome.
with just a small smile on the corner of my lips.
Cool.
I'd probably sit down relatively close to Kellic the group, and I would like to, while I'm eating, look at, you said there's games going on?
Oh, yes.
I'd like to just kind of glance at all the ones that are going on, Claire.
Yeah.
Just see what
Games?
Games?
Ain't no games. Yeah.
to glare at all of the games.
Yeah.
And just see what's being played.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You see, off in one corner, you see a large sort of open area, and you can see these sort of glowing, colorful targets that are sort of by their own accord, kind of moving and swaying. And you can see that a bunch of the novices are there, that are sort of, they have these way oversized bows, these long bows.
Okay.
Very akin to, in my head, the Japanese longbow, that sort of really big kind of curved bow. And they are sitting there, and they're trying to hit the targets. And that is being presided over, if I recall correctly, by the elvish woman. who's like covered in tattoos and lots of jewelry and things like that.
That was one of the people that was on the pedestal earlier.
Correct. It looks like most of the higher
are
literally overseeing all the games.
Cool. Okay.
You see another one, which is it is basically a really long, probably like 200 yards or so of poles of matched like different heights, like wooden, that are just kind of undulate and sway. Some go up really tall, some stay down pretty short, but all kind of gradually go upwards towards what looks like a large archway about 200 yards away, and sort of dangling is this like bright yellow orb that's just kind of slowly spinning. And you can see right now, like novices are like hopping from the poles to the poles, trying to like get up towards the thing.
I don't know if you guys remember when Olma talked about the game. It's just training games.
They're all like,
they were like games.
That was led by.
That one is led by. I believe that one is the large male, the male in plate mail, who Olma would recognize all these people. Watcher Liara, I believe, is the elvish woman. I'm mixing up all my own NPCs here. Yes, flowing silver hair, vibrant green eyes. So that's Watcher Liara. And then Watcher Tristan is towering human male, full plate male, just the most stereotypical like paladin, like jawline, cut glass. Like,
so I'm seeing some
golden
kind of like
hair,
god symbols or something like that.
Yeah, symbols of flowers.
Like the symbol on Seeker's forearm is like on his chest, on his plate mail.
Cool.
And you see that is Watcher Tristan. Then you can see he's presiding over the Sun's Ascent, is what is called, and then the Aurora Archery is Watcher Liara, and then you see a sort of long, just kind of cordoned off flat stretch of land where you can see sort of hung up on pegs these like very iridescent silver and gold cloaks. That is the Dawn's Dash, and that is being presided over by a very stout dwarven man who appears to be on in his years, covered in like geometric tattoos. That is Watcher Kalar, who you heard Brim mention him several times. That is Brim's mentor.
And sorry, what was the game for that one again?
That one is Dawn's Dash,
and they
like
are
a racing game.
Like a racing game. Like a race.
Okay.
It's a combination race and performance. The goal is to get to the end, but also to have some flair while you do it.
Oh, I see.
It is a combination of foot race and performance. And then there's like a big kind of wooden platform with all kinds of different wooden spokes, and there are like glowing rings that are on that, and that is the Knight's End ring toss, and that is being presided over by Watcher Jin, who is the man with the capuchin monkey on his shoulder.
Oh.
That is, and those are the kind of the different games that you see. Go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good. One last thing I wanted to try and see. Does it look like, in my limited knowledge of how Key works, does it look like the novices, when they're playing this game, are they using all of their abilities, including like Key, like what I saw happen?
Interesting.
Like, are they like only allowed to use certain things, or can they access everything? Like, are they using their Key kind of stuff?
As you watch for long enough, like, you can see that, some of these kids put on these absurd bursts of speed, like, really quickly.
Okay.
It does appear that it's whatever you got. Smoke them if you got.
But the odds might be stacked against you.
Yeah, I will kind of glance back at the pole acrobatic one, and I will kind of smirk and continue eating my food a little more hastily.
As you're watching that one, actually, it's funny, like, there's like a little crowd that's starting to kind of gather around that one. Because you see that basically you start to see as one by one the various monks walk over to there. And it looks like it's like maybe the monks are going to actually do it and run against each other. So you can see like Tristan is like, I'll preside. He's like, I don't run like that. But you see like Watcher Liara, you see Brim walks over there, Kalar, Jin, and they're all
about
start.
To do it?
Yeah, they're all making their way over there, and the novices are all like, "Whoa!" Like they're all pumped.
Could I finish my food faster and try and join them if they're about to do it?
If anybody would like to, can.
Yeah,
Why are you eating so fast? It's not gonna go away.
They're all about to do this. See? They're about to do the polls.
Oh, you make yourself sick.
Okay, I'll just push the plate away and I'll just go off and join them.
All right, cool, awesome. So you kind of like
Yeah.
just shove your face full of food.
Yeah.
And
Be right back, yeah.
you run over and you kind of join as like the novices start to gather around as it looks like the monks are going to do the sun's ascent as kind of a friendly competition between them.
Yeah, I'll sit up and I'll make my way over there.
Yeah, all right, awesome.
Yeah.
You gonna head on over?
Yes.
Hmm?
Can I nudge you?
Yes.
Want to go take a look?
Yes, we're gonna look. I don't. What you can try.
I don't even give Kellic the option. I grab his wrist and pull him along with me.
I haven't finished me.
Awesome. So yeah, I finished. You grab him and pull him up.
The bowl just like tips over.
Mhm.
Awesome. And yeah, you guys both head over as well as you all sort of slowly make your way towards that space. We will come back next episode when you guys all do the sun's ascent against the Watchers.
Wait, we're gonna do it against them?
If you want.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna watch this.
You
do
can
it.
You can do it in real time.
Yeah.
I'm like trying to grab us.
I had a feeling someone was going to participate. But yeah, we will
I
go
don't have any
ahead.
key left. I used all of it.
Get a short rest in. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and call it there.
Oh, man.
Thank you guys so much. And of course, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Thank you very much. And goodbye, nerds.
Bye, nerds.
Hey, nerds. Shane here. If you're enjoying Venture Forth, please like, follow, and subscribe on whatever platform you're using. It goes a long way in the algorithm to help us get seen by other people. And speaking of, make sure to tell your nerdy friends about Venture Forth. You know all those people that you play Dungeons & Dragons with? Let them know that you're enjoying a very cool, immersive podcast with a pretty good score written by one of the players at the table. It's pretty good. If you're interested in going the extra mile, please do check out our Patreon link in our description, and there you can support the show and get access to some really cool bonus content. We've got a lot of our pre-show behind the scenes up there, some exclusive images, lots of fun things to enjoy, in addition to just helping us out. Thanks a ton. Bye, nerds.